Excellent. Okay, guys. So, yeah, listen, we just want to go through our kind of ABC holiday strategy for your holiday this year. And the reason that we do this is because I think it's good. Every single person's going to have a different strategy, but I think it's good for us to, or you to at least see what the kind of ideas are, and then we can touch base on what we feel like is best for you. This is also going to differ depending on like how the length of holiday you're going to go on, what type of holiday you're going to go on, and stuff like that. So obviously each individual strategy that we've put together for you is going to be personalized. But here is a basic overview of something that I would say is like a 7 day family style holiday where you're going to be chilling out, beach, pool, etc. Lots of food available, drinks, what have you. And here's some ideas of how I would strategize that over the course of those sort of 7 to maybe 10 days or so. So the ABC holiday strategy, what does it mean? Well, we're going to have three options, and these are adequately named by me. So we've got A is a fuck it, I'm on holiday mentality or strategy. B is let's not be a total twat now, and C is Mr. slash Mrs. Accountable. So they're the kind of three protocols you can think, and probably just from those names, you're probably thinking, right, well, I've kind of got an idea of what each one is going to entail. So let's go through them. So A the fuck it, I'm on holiday mentality. Now, this is something that, again, people will probably want to have in their mind as something to do. And I'm certainly not against this. And it's also probably something that you've probably done in the past also. So naturally, like the title says, fuck it, I'm on holiday. Basically, it means you just go on holiday and you do whatever you fancy. You eat what you want, drink what you want. Don't take any major sort of thoughts about it. You just go through it. You just enjoy the sun, enjoy the time there, take it all in and do whatever you want without any kind of formal consequences. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages? So, for me, the advantage is this: you can drink and eat whatever you want. Which, for me, when you go on holiday, I think one of the biggest principles is you're allowed to have that kind of downtime. All right, you should definitely be eating and drinking more freely, all right, and enjoying what's on offer because at the end of the day, that's what holidays are also about. It's not just about the sun, it's not just about the chilling, it's not just about the time spent with your friends and your family and stuff. It's also about enjoying food, cuisines, and having that freedom and flexibility, right? The other advantages of it, no boundaries or limitations, total freedom and opportunity, no pressure on exercise or activity, and it's only a few days of your entire year is a way to think about it. So the advantages, like I said, are you can have that freedom and flexibility with stuff. You have no limitations or boundaries or any kind of like limits or anything to what you're going to do and eat and drink, etc. There's no pressure on exercising or doing an activity, doing steps, whatever it is. And at the end of the day, like we said, if it's a 7 day or like holiday style thing, 7 days out of 365 is I don't even know the percentage of that, but it's minimal, isn't it? It's a really, really small part. So what are the disadvantages of doing that? Well, naturally, like you're going to get carried away quite easily. You're going to lose sight of certain actions, behaviors, and beliefs that you might have been creating over the period that we've been working together, or even before that as well. You might find a quick return to old habits. You might also find that it triggers you with certain emotions, whether that is a food thing, whether that's a drink thing, whether that's bringing back some certain things that you've been trying to overcome so far. Naturally, this kind of approach is probably going to see some weight gain and possibly could be quite heavy weight gain depending on how big you go. And of course, it's going to be harder to recover post holiday. So when you get off that holiday and you get back to normality, that switch is going to be massive. If you're in this position here, eating and drinking whatever you want, and then you get back on home, you're like, right, I need to get back on track with the quotation marks. That's a massive gap between the two, isn't it? So it's going to be harder. And naturally, like I said, a lot of this can increase with increased weight gain. And he's not on the program anymore, so it's not the end of the world. But a guy that we had a couple of years ago went on a 7 day all inclusive with his family. He was doing really well on his initial program. Went on holiday. He gained 10 kilos. Let me tell you, 10 kilos. Like that's a lot, isn't it? And for me, he never really recovered from that. If I'm honest, is he really struggled afterwards. He really lost a lot of motivation. He naturally was annoyed at himself or kind of had that guilt feeling, which we tried to overcome. And we did do, to be fair. He did end up losing a little bit more, but then things just kind of slipped. He also ended up losing his job, so he ended up having to leave the program as it was anyway. But from that moment forward, I always thought there needs to be something that it doesn't mean you can't just go on holiday and just fuck it for the whole time for me. All right. So there needs to be a balance. And that's what strategy B is all about is let's not be a total twat now. So for us, what we're trying to say here is, yeah, listen. A more balanced approach is key. Okay, yes, you're going to eat and drink a little bit more food. Yes, you're going to exercise less and you're probably going to move more. You're probably going to take less care of steps. You may or may not even do any form of activity or exercise while there, i.e., hotels, hotel gyms, or running or anything like that. Okay. But there also needs to be a middle ground. You can't just do and drink and do everything what you want without any care in the world and then expect to be all right when you get back. So for us, we're trying to say, listen, let's just have a little bit of balance here. Let's just try and make some sensible choices, some sensible decisions along the way. And that means that it could be just about managing food around certain meal times. That could be maybe keeping some form of habitual processes in place, i.e., hydration, i.e., steps, i.e., sleep, or just some activity or movement. It could also mean that you do actually visit the hotel gym once or twice while you're there and just keep that form of routine and structure in place. Or you could take your runners with you and maybe do a run on the beach first thing in the morning, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to keep some principles in place that you've been doing whilst you've been at home that is going to keep you a little bit more level-headed and make sure that you do enjoy yourself, but you just don't go crazy. So, of course, the advantages of that offers a more balanced approach. It allows food and drink freedom without going over the top. It keeps one eye on the behaviors and habits that you've been creating before you went away and try to keep them within your lifestyle and your structures to allow yourself some form of normality and sort of routine and consistency with that. And it doesn't have to ruin your holiday either, okay? You can have the balance between the two without feeling like you've A, been Sergeant Major, but B, being a careless bastard. All right. And then obviously it does add a little bit of floor of accountability without any huge pressure on it. What are the disadvantages of this? Well, it might mean that you might have to think a little bit more whilst you're there. You might have to say no at certain times for certain things. You might not quite be able to just always be in that mindset of just do whatever you want. It might mean that it may mean a visit to the hotel gym or a run or some form of exercise whilst you are there, and that may take you away from maybe the environment that you're in with the kids, with the family, with the missus, whatever. Okay, but I think the advantages definitely outweigh the disadvantages of this. And I say the only problem, like the only thing that you might find is you might just have to say at certain times you just might have one, that little checkpoint moment that you have in your phone. Hang on a minute. Let's maybe not have a beer at 11 a.m. in the morning. Maybe let's just have a little bit more water. Let's see it through to maybe like 3, 4 p.m. and then I'll maybe crack a drink open or something like that. Just being a little bit more mindful of the things that you're doing without actually saying no to the things that you do want to do whilst you're there. That was one of the examples that I can give you. And then we've got C. By the way, B is probably a strategy I would look to follow the most. But then C, we've got Mr., Mrs. Accountable. Okay. This one means basically you're not really going to change anything whilst you're away. Now, this is one that we could possibly use if you are maybe having a weekend away or maybe a couple of days away in the UK, for instance, and we might find that things like tracking, things like exercise, things like that might be quite easy to stick with whilst we are there. But I think with C, it's very much person specific because I think for C, you have to be a certain type of person to probably want to track your food whilst you're away. You might be a certain type of person who wants to stick to making sure they hit the water every day, making sure it's a staple part of their diet, making sure that you go to the gym 4 or 5 times while you're there, making sure you get a couple of runs in there, making sure you do your steps, hit your step target every day, and where you're watching your tracker. Obviously, for some people, that's great, and that's what they want to do. All right, so we've got to kind of make sure we've got a balance with the two. Now, the advantages of being like this, well, it keeps you fully accountable. It doesn't change from your normal, so it's quite easy to stick to when it comes to that. It does help continue or maintain some training progress. So if you are very much sort of really focused on your training at the minute and you're really focused on getting stronger, building some muscle, keeping your sessions at a consistent rate, that's going to help you with that. Tracking your food to hit your target, so you might want to be able to track your food so that you can make sure you're still getting your protein intake there. And again, if you are training heavily or training a lot, that process of tracking your food, hitting your protein, things like that, making sure your macros are controlled is going to be massively helpful. Your health markers might not change that much really, so you probably notice that your digestion is very much the same, your continuity is normal, your sleep may not be that much affected, your kind of energy levels will be pretty stable, pretty simple, and just everything will feel very similar. And then there's no get back on track mentality as well. So when you get home, it's just as normal. You're just changing the place that you're at, really. The disadvantages, well, obviously it's really restrictive for holidays, and that's what a lot of people would struggle with is the fact that being this kind of restrictive for a holiday is obviously quite difficult or probably not something that you want to do. Logging foods and logging workouts is, of course, going to be something that, again, you're probably not really thinking as you go on holiday, that's something you want to do. It's going to limit the flexibility or the food freedom that you have. So if you are eating meals out, if you're doing things like that, if you are sticking to your protein, for instance, you're only going to be having certain meals at there, and you're probably not going to have much flexibility. You might miss out on certain aspects. So again, if you're going away with the family or you've got a big group of you there, if you're going to the gym every single day for an hour, you're going to be losing 5, 6 hours of your holiday with that over a period of time. And obviously, also food wise, you might be saying no to ice creams. You might not be having a beer around the pool or a cocktail around the pool. You might be not going to the swim up bar. All that kind of stuff might obviously hold you back. And then there's no really time off either. And I do believe that when you're on holiday, like having a bit of time off is obviously key. Um, so yeah, that's C for you. So what should you do? Well, to be honest, you can do all fucking three. And that's why I think it is. So for me, I put here, I believe that a combination of all three can be utilized. I think holidays are made for memories that will last a lifetime, and that does include the food, the drink, and the way you behave whilst you are there. Like having a carefree mindset and just following that down is a good thing, but also I think it can also correlate to differences in your own personal goals. At the end of the day, you deserve to enjoy the downtime, the freedom, and the opportunistic behavior that's going to happen whilst you're on holiday. But you're also trying to make subconscious changes to the way you live, act, and behave with your health and fitness in these kind of scenarios. So always going like if you are always on every time you've been on holiday over the years and you've always gained a lot of weight and then you've really struggled to lose it afterwards, doing the same things you did on holiday is not going to be beneficial for you this time around, is it? You've got to try and live, act, and behave according to the goals that you have for the long term. And some of that will come down to better management in these situations versus what you did in the past. Okay, so that's the way that I see it. Now, for me, I think a balance of A and B should be taken into consideration. I think for you, for every person that goes away, that's what you should focus on. I think you need to have that mindset of, listen, I'm on holiday. I want to enjoy myself. I want to do this. I want to have that freedom with food. I want to drink and eat a bit more routinely and sporadically and opportunistically. I don't want to stick to my 3 meals a day. I don't want to have to hit my water every day. All right. But at the same time, I do feel like I do need to maybe hit the gym a couple of times while I'm there just to keep me in the right mindset. And I do think sometimes maybe not having 3 meals a day is necessary. If I have a big breakfast, do I really need something big at lunch? Do I really need them burger and chips? Or can I just have maybe a light salad? Or maybe even just go through it and just wait till the evening to have my evening meal? When I go to the buffet, for instance, do I really need to go back twice when I'm having my every single meal, or just go for a starter and my main, or my main and my dessert, for instance? Okay, do I really need to be drinking 4 or 5 pints every single day when I'm sat around the pool drinking a wine or drinking a cocktail or something? Or do I actually say, okay, it's all right for a couple of days, but I don't need to do that every day? Evening times, do we always just need to sit in the hotel all the time, watching the kids show and then some parrot coming out and a comedian and all that, just sitting there drinking because it's all inclusive? Or actually, can we get out? Can we get for some walks? Can we go and see the culture? See what's around the local area, okay, and just enjoy that as occasion too. And then I think to a degree there is some form of C being able to be used because I think if things really do slip and you do really struggle, I think just going into that zone for maybe one day just to say, hang on a minute, we need to create that circuit breaker here. We need to just create something that's going to stop me going down this slippery path because I started well. I started with the B strategy and we've had a couple of days at A, and now I'm really struggling. I'm feeling myself slipping, and that's not what I want because, like we talked about, we're trying to make subconscious changes to the way we live, act, and behave in this health and fitness lifestyle that we're now trying to live. So actually, sometimes C might be a bit of a backup plan, just to maybe stop the thought, hold that, like stop the water flowing there, stop the rot, and just put a different direction in for one day. And once C's done, if I had a day at C, it might just mean I can get back to strategy B for the rest of the holiday and mean that I can enjoy it a little bit more. We have a bit of freedom, a bit of fluidity, but I've not gone overboard. All right, so that's the way that I would look at it. So my top tips, like we said there, I would utilize combination of A and B as much as possible. I'll then use C if things start to get a little bit out of hand. I would look to plan my plate as much as I possibly could. So when we're talking about planning a plate, we're looking to make half our plate full of vegetables or salad or fruit or something like that. Lots of good micronutrients in there as much as we can. The second half of the plate will have half of it if with protein and the other half with carbs or fats. Okay, so if you're especially if you're going to a buffet style meal or a buffet style hotel and it's like all inclusive and all that kind of jobby. One plate, go and fill it up. Make sure you get a bit of protein on there. Make sure you get some salad or some veg or some fruit on there, and then obviously whatever else you fancy alongside that. Have that plate, but just that plate. Then obviously do exactly the same with the dessert. If you fancy a dessert, one dessert only, but pick whatever you fancy. Okay, meal management is kind of what we talked about earlier, where if we are thinking, right, 3 meals in a day, do I really need to have three big meals? If my breakfast is a large breakfast and I've like maybe I don't know, a plate of this, plate of that, and I also have a little bit of fruit at the end of it. Okay, that's kind of my two servings for the meal. Probably not going to need anything at lunch, really. So, do I just have some drink, have some water, stay hydrated, maybe have a small snack if I do need something, a little ice cream or something like that would be cool. Save myself for the evening time, let myself get hungry again, then I can go and enjoy some more food, whether that is at the hotel or whether that's out and about. Okay, so a bit of meal management in there. Same with that as well, all the way around. You might not have any breakfast, you might see yourself through to lunch, get yourself something at midday. Same again in the evening time. We always tend to notice that evening time is usually our main meal of the day, isn't it? Especially when we're on holiday. So yeah, I would just look to do that either with your breakfast or your dinner time meal. I would definitely try and exercise if and when you can. Don't go crazy with it. Don't be in there every day. Don't be running down the beach every day. But listen, if you get one or two chances during your stay there, okay, have a think about it. Sort of 30, 40% of your stay, just think, yeah, do you know what? I could probably go in the gym for 40 minutes today, do a quick session, just get some dumbbells, get a bit of a pump on, get a little bit of a sweat on, make myself feel good. Then I can go down to the pool, join everybody else while they're getting creamed up in the room and while they're all doing this, that, and the other. I might have to get a quick session in there. If they're having a little snooze at the mid-afternoon, I might be able to go and jump in the gym, or maybe I can go for a quick run down the beach. You know what I mean? Plenty of opportunity in there, even if it's just 20, 30 minutes, a couple of times while you're there. It'll just keep you in the right headspace, and it's good for the body and it's good for the mind. Stay active and keep busy. So again, that doesn't mean just doing it on your own, but trying to stay active with the kids, stay active with the other better half, and if you've got any family in that with you, just go and enjoy it. Get some steps in there, some walks down the beach, walks around the local area. Like I said, in the evening time, get out there. Don't be just sat in the hotel every night. Stay active, stay busy, enjoy the surroundings. I think this is a big one. Stay hydrated. Yeah, you're in a hot country most of the time. Drink plenty of water. Keep yourself hydrated. It'll keep your energy levels good. It'll keep your head nice and clear. It will mean that you can obviously look after your water intake, your hydration, which is obviously going to be key when you're in a hot place as well. And it's a good habit to keep into. It's a good habit to obtain. Expect a slight gain post holiday, all right, which is absolutely fine, okay, because most people will follow tips A and B for most of the time, and that will mean that you may come back a couple of kilos heavier, all right, that's absolutely fine. First and foremost, a lot of that will just be a little bit of additional food in the digestive system. It also could be down to a little bit of water retention, depending on what food you've been eating whilst you're away, and also flying. Flying causes water retention and it causes inflammation. So that might just mean that if you do happen to jump on a scales the next day, which by the way, I probably wouldn't recommend that much. I'd probably give it a couple of days before you did that, just because we all know that that first reading is going to be fluctuational anyway. It's going to be higher than probably what I expected. But over that first week, get back to routine, get back to structure, everything like that. All right. You will soon find that that weight drops off pretty quickly, quicker than probably what you expected. And then probably within 5 to 7 days, you'll find out a proper middle ground of where you actually are post holiday. And for a lot of people, you will notice that you are probably 1, maybe 2 kilos heavier at best once you come back. Because 7 days in the sun is not going to ruin your entire 6 months worth of progress that you've been achieving right now. Okay. And enjoy your fucking holiday and come back with a good tan because that's what you're going for. You're going to enjoy yourself. You're going to have some time off from work, from the stresses and strains of the UK, and you're probably going to go and get a good tan as well. So make sure you do that. All right. And my final parting shot, count your memories, not your calories. Because when you're on holiday, you're supposed to be there to make memories that'll last you a lifetime. Okay. Not to count your calories, not to worry about the food you have, not to feel guilty for the food that you've eaten, but to make sure that you think, you know what, come home, feel good, ready to go again. And you know what? I had the best time. I managed myself really well. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 days where I really let myself and enjoyed myself, but I thought, do you know what? I managed to keep myself well under control and I'm fit and ready and active to go again. And that, guys, is the ABC holiday strategy. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions after you've watched it, simply drop me a message and we can talk through it. Can never find the bloody stop button. There we go.